Gurfalo and the Great Forest Snow Adventure. It was the first snowfall of the year in the Wobble Woods, and the entire forest was covered in a sparkling white blanket. Gurfalo, the big green furry creature with floppy purple ears and enormous stompy feet, peeked out of his mushroom-shaped house and gasped. "Snow!" he shouted so loudly that an icicle fell off his roof. "It's snow day!" Gurfalo loved snow days more than pie-tasting days, marshmallow-eating contests, or even dance-offs with the raccoons. But today, Gurfalo wasn't just going to build a snowman or throw snowballs. Today, Gurfalo was on a mission. "I'm going to climb the Great Frosty Peak," he declared to his best friend, Zippity the bird. Zippity flitted around Gurfalo's head, looking skeptical. "Great Frosty Peak," she said. "You mean the big snowy hill where nobody has ever made it to the top? The hill that's so slippery even squirrels slide back down?" "That's the one," Gurfalo said proudly. "I'm going to be the first creature in Wobble Woods to conquer it." The preparation Gurfalo packed his adventure backpack with all the essentials, a thermos of hot chocolate, a bag of cheeseberry crunch for snacks, a rope, a carrot, in case he wanted to build a snowman halfway up. Zippity, who didn't want to miss out on the fun, grabbed her tiny goggles and perched on Gurfalo's shoulder. "Fine, but don't say I didn't warn you when we get stuck halfway and have to call for backup," she chirped. With a big stomp, Gurfalo began his journey toward Great Frosty Peak. The first challenge, the slippery slopes. The base of the peak was a wide, icy slope that looked more like a giant slide than a hill. As Gurfalo took his first step, his gigantic feet immediately slipped. He fell backward with a loud thud, sending Zippity flying into a snowbank. "Whoops!" Gurfalo said, picking himself up. "Maybe I should stomp harder for better grip." But stomping harder just made the ice crack under him, creating a zigzag of tiny ice chasms. From behind a tree, Gary the goat, who was wearing a woolly scarf, bleated with laughter. "Gurfalo, you're never going to make it up that hill with feet like yours. You're too big and stompy." "Oh yeah?" Gurfalo said, narrowing his big purple eyes. "Watch this." He grabbed his rope, tied one end to a nearby tree, and started pulling himself up. It was slow going, but after lots of slipping, sliding, and one accidental somersault, Gurfalo finally made it to the top of the icy slope. "Ha! Who's too big and stompy now?" he shouted, though nobody could hear him except Zippity. The snowball ambush. As Gurfalo and Zippity continued their climb, they passed through the snowy woods. Suddenly, a snowball whizzed past Gurfalo's floppy ear and landed with a splat on the tree next to him. "Hey!" Gurfalo shouted. "Who threw that?" From behind a snowbank, a gang of mischievous raccoons popped up. They were wearing tiny winter hats and wielding snowballs like professionals. Their leader, Ralph the raccoon, grinned. "If you want to pass through our part of the woods, you have to survive the great snowball battle." "I don't have time for snowball battles," Gurfalo said, stomping his foot. But it was too late, the raccoons had already started launching snowballs. Gurfalo grabbed a pile of snow and began throwing back. Unfortunately, his big hands made snowballs the size of watermelons, and every time he threw one, the raccoons dived out of the way, laughing hysterically. "Gurfalo, let me handle this," Zippity said. She flew up to the nearest branch and started dropping tiny snowballs onto the raccoons' heads. "Retreat!" Ralph shouted dramatically. "The bird is too powerful." Gurfalo and Zippity continued their climb, victorious once again. The avalanche incident. As they got closer to the top of the peak, the path became steeper and narrower. Gurfalo's stomps sent little puffs of snow flying into the air. "Almost there," he said, grinning. But then, disaster struck. Gurfalo stomped a little too hard, and a huge pile of snow from a nearby ledge started sliding toward them. "Avalanche!" Zippity screamed. Thinking fast, Gurfalo grabbed his rope and tied it around a tree, then held on to it with all his might. The avalanche roared past them, covering the path in a thick blanket of snow. "Phew!" Gurfalo said, brushing snow off his ears. "That was close. You almost turned us into snow creature pancakes," Zippity said, shaking her feathers. The summit celebration finally, after hours of climbing, slipping, snowball battles, and avalanche dodging, Gurfalo and Zippity reached the top of Great Frosty Peak. The view was breathtaking. The entire Wobble Woods sparkled below them, and the setting sun painted the snow in shades of pink and orange. "We did it!" Gurfalo shouted, his voice echoing across the woods. He pulled out his thermos of hot chocolate and shared it with Zippity. As they sat there, enjoying their victory, the raccoons appeared below, waving little white flags of surrender. Even Gary the goat bleated his congratulations from the base of the peak. "Gurfalo," Zippity said, "you might be big and stompy, but you're also the most determined creature in the woods. And now I'm the king of the peak," Gurfalo declared, sticking the carrot he had brought into the snow as his official flag. From that day on, no one in the Wobble Woods doubted Gurfalo's adventurous spirit. And every winter, the Great Frosty Peak became the most popular spot for snowball battles, sledding, and, of course, stompy snow adventures. The end.